Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is bouncing from this critical area of support, avoiding a further crash to the downside, at least for now, because Bitcoin is still trading very close to a major level of liquidity, while Ethereum is still trading very close to this important line of support, while the price of Chainlink right now is still trading within this area of support, while Solana is right now bouncing from this important area of support in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin chart, and technically speaking, the price of Bitcoin is still within a larger bull market, still playing out this bull market signal in the 4-day super trend indicator and on this weekly Bitcoin chart right here. But of course, on this weekly Bitcoin chart, we're still seeing a slowdown, losing bullish momentum in the weekly Bitcoin MACD, as I've been sharing basically every day over the last 1 month. So like I've been saying every day over the last 1 month, expect a lot of choppy sideways price action in between around 90,000 to basically the all-time high 108,000. So in that range right there, expect the price to chop around sideways, which means short-term dumps and short-term pumps, just bouncing around sideways. And once again, I've been saying that every day for about a month now, and that has been perfectly playing out exactly as expected. And I continue to expect this type of price action at least for the next 1 or 2 weeks. So basically until the second half of January as the most likely scenario. So nothing has really changed here on this chart. It's still playing out as I've been talking about for the last month. And of course, this slowdown in the somewhat shorter term is supported by this Bitcoin chart on the weekly time frame, which is a massive bearish divergence, which has already been confirmed for weeks now. For almost around a month, this has been confirmed, which is pointing towards a larger slowdown in the price of Bitcoin. So either a pullback or correction, or some choppy sideways price action as the most common outcomes from a bearish divergence. And so once again, as I've been saying for a long time now on the channel, expect that type of price action in the somewhat shorter term for the coming weeks, but this is not necessarily the end of the bull market. We can see little bearish divergences here on the weekly time frame, for example, like this one right here, a bearish divergence during a bull market. It just means in the short term, following the bearish divergence for some time at the very least, we do to see a bit of a setback or a cool off during the bull market, but not necessarily the end of the bull market. But at least for the next few weeks, or the next 1 or 2 weeks at the very least, expect a continued slowdown, as I've been saying once again. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, right now we still have a lot of resistance at close to 102,000 based on this 1618 Fibonacci extension level sitting at around 102,000. And if we're zooming into the shorter term for the price of Bitcoin, looking at the 12-hour time frame, right now the price of Bitcoin is obviously bouncing from this important area of support that I've been talking about since before we even hit this area of support, and that's sitting in between around 92,000 to 93,000. So obviously, as I've been saying, expect a lot of support around there, and that is critical support for Bitcoin, because I said if we break below around 92,000 with candle closes actually confirming below 92,000, then in that case that would be very bad news, at least for the next few days or weeks. We'd likely see a further pullback, at least back into the 80k price range, back down towards 87k and possibly lower, but obviously for now we are still finding support in that area. So that's why we need to wait for confirmation, which means candle closes confirming below the support line, so below 92,000, and as of right now we've not yet seen that. And just before talking about what this means for other important Bitcoin charts today, first, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, personally, I take most of my crypto trades over on Bitfinex, so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive deposit bonus that's only available using that link. So if you simply just click that link to make your account and then deposit $100 and start trading, you get a $20 bonus. Or if you deposit just $500, you get a $100 bonus. Or if you deposit just 1,000 USDT and start trading, you get a $200 bonus straight into your new account. But that's only available if you use the link below this video to make your account and start trading on that account. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And also, in case you're wondering, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, always check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want Bitnex, there is also Bybit as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I will also make sure to leave a link to Bybit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, taking a look at this Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame, and right now the price of Bitcoin is obviously bouncing, as I just said earlier, from this important area of support at around 92,000 to 93,000, which means bouncing from this neckline for this head and shoulders pattern. And the neckline for this pattern was sitting at roughly around 92,500, so right in that area of support. And as I explained in my last video, this was of course one of the major reasons as to why this area of support is critical support for Bitcoin, because like I said yesterday, if we confirm a break to the downside with candle closes below around 92,000, in that case that would confirm this bearish pattern, setting up a bearish price target for this pattern at around 80,500, so in between 80,000 to 81,000 as the next short-term price target. Of course, between the break and the price target, there would also be other levels of support along the way, like for example 87,000. But like I explained in great detail in my last video, this bearish price target and this bearish pattern only comes into play. It only activates if we first see a confirmed break with candle closes below this neckline. So breaking below around 92,000 in order to actually activate that bearish scenario. But for now, this is just something to pay attention to and is not currently active. It is not in play until we actually see a confirmed break below this support. And so of course, if that ends up happening very soon, if we see a quick little pullback here and then confirm candle closes back below around 92,000, in that case, in my last video, I shared a detailed trading strategy, basically explaining how we can profit from a potential bearish move that could come next after we see a confirmed break below this support. But as I've said over and over again in this video and also in my last video, that price target and that trading strategy right there only starts, it only comes into play once we actually see a confirmed break below around 92,000. And something that could possibly accelerate that move towards the downside if we were to break below around 92 to 91,000 would be this area of liquidity in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Right now, over the last one day, we took out a small amount of liquidity at just above 91,000, but most of the liquidity is still sitting at right at around 91,000. As we can see, there's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of liquidation sitting right at around 91,000 approximately. And so what this means, in case you're new to all of this, if the price of Bitcoin breaks below around 91,000, that will wipe out a bunch of long positions, liquidate a bunch of long positions, which can potentially cause more sell pressure, because when longs close or get liquidated, they essentially have to sell out of those positions, causing more sell pressure, which can liquidate more long positions and so on. That's called a long squeeze, which is obviously bearish for the price. But as I also said in my last video, that only starts if we see a confirmed break below around 91,000 in this case to liquidate those positions at close to 91,000. So for now, obviously, we've had a very near miss. We got very close to 91,000, but we did not see a break below that important liquidation level. And so for now, obviously, we're not out of the woods yet. Those are still levels that we need to be aware of in case we do see another little pullback here. So just pay attention to especially 92 and 91K as very important levels for Bitcoin. But at least for now, obviously, we are holding this area as support, which is some relief here in the short term. And now if we were to continue some sort of bounce here, in that case, of course, we have other points of resistance to the upside to watch out for. So I would expect a lot of resistance at around 98,500 to 100K as previous points of resistance, and also a lot of resistance right here in between 102,000 to 103,000. But for now, while the price is still holding above this area of support, we're looking relatively neutral in the shorter term, as in over the next few days, potentially, most likely going to play out a bit of choppy sideways price action. And obviously over the last few weeks, we've played out a lot of choppy sideways price action, which is obviously what I've been talking about every single day for almost a month now, based on this chart right here, playing out choppy sideways price action, seeing a slowdown during the bull market. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, right now Ethereum is still possibly forming this massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, but obviously right now we're still a long way from potentially confirming this pattern, because in order to actually confirm this pattern and confirm the bullish price target for this inverse head and shoulders pattern, we need to see a recovery very soon in the price of ETH over the next few weeks or so, back up towards around 4,000, and then we need to see a confirmed breakout with weekly candle closes, at least one weekly candle close above around 4,000 to 4.1k in order to confirm the breakout and confirm this pattern. So obviously right now this is something to pay attention to, but nothing to act on, because right now it is not confirmed. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Ethereum chart, right now the price of ETH is still just hanging on to this level of support, sitting at just above 3.2k, closer towards around 3240 to 3250 give or take, but right around just above 3.2k, that is acting as major support once again based on previous resistance and also support right here, and also of course this 23.6% Fibonacci level of support. So for now, obviously in the short term, just like Bitcoin holding onto its level of support, Ethereum for now is holding onto this important level of support. But if we were to see a major breakdown here with significant candle closes well below this line of support, especially if we broke below around 3.2k, then in that case we could find a bit of short-term support at close to 3,000 based on these lows. But below that, the next significant support is really sitting at around 2.8k. And if we're taking a look at this daily Ethereum chart, of course we have this area of support to watch out for in between 3,000 to 3.1k, and we have this area of resistance to watch out for in between around 3430 to 3560. And so ultimately, at least in the somewhat shorter term, the price of ETH is currently within a bit of a sideways price range, chopping around between that area of support and that area of resistance. And of course, like I've said recently here on the channel quite a lot, usually the price of ETH and a lot of major altcoins out there follow similar price action to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is bouncing from important support, usually a lot of major altcoins play out similar price action as well. And if we're taking a look at Chainlink on the weekly time frame, right now Chainlink is obviously still trading just below $21, but for now we have seen a very small bounce in the imminent short term here from the low point, which was closer towards $19. And so obviously that needs to continue in order to avoid a potential confirmed break below $21, below the golden pocket, because in order to actually confirm this break to the downside below $21, we need to see a weekly candle close confirm below $21. And in case you're wondering, the next weekly candle close confirms in roughly around 2.5 days from now. And so, of course, for the bulls out there, for the Chainlink bulls, we need to break out back above $21 in the next 2 days or so in order to avoid a potential confirmed break below the golden pocket. And of course, if we confirm the weekly candle close below $21, in that case, potentially for the coming days or weeks, that would be bad news for Chainlink, because that would mean losing a major area of support. And as for the other levels of support and resistance to watch out for on this chart right here, those have not changed over the last 1 day. So if you want to know more about this chart, check out my last video here on the channel. And if we're taking a look at this 8-hour Chainlink chart, looking at the shorter term, of course, right now we have this area of support to watch out for, where we've previously seen lots of support multiple times, and that's sitting in between around $19.50 to $20.50. So in that $1 price range right there, at least for now, there is a lot of support to pay attention to. And as for resistance, of course, we still have this important area of resistance sitting in between around $24.50 to $25.50 approximately, acting as major resistance here in the short term. So for now, the price of Chainlink, and really over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, has essentially been chopping around sideways in a massive sideways price range in between that area of support and that area of resistance. And like I've said over and over again recently here on the channel, if you want to know what's likely going to happen for Chainlink and a lot of major altcoins, simply just watch the Bitcoin analysis and watch the Bitcoin price, because usually major altcoins like Chainlink follow similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. But if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, right now Solana is bouncing from very close to this important level of support, sitting at around $180, but really in the lower 180 price range, let's just say in between 180 to around 183, we have a lot of support in that area based on the these previous lows right here. So close to 180, major support to pay attention to, and right now we're bouncing from very close to 180, and it's possible that this bearish divergence right here could soon be coming to an end based on the fact that we're right now running into major support at close to 180, but also based on the fact that the 8-hour Solana RSI is getting very close to oversold territories. Now it's not there just yet, which technically means we still have some more room to the downside here. That's still a possibility, but it's getting very close to possibly ending, so keep that in mind. But for now, Solana, just like Chainlink and Ethereum, is basically in a bit of a sideways price range, at least in the short term here, trading back in this previous sideways price range that we were previously in back here, and that's sitting in between around 180 as the support level, and of course this area of resistance sitting in between 200 to 205. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the 12-hour time frame, right now XRP is obviously still trading within this descending parallel channel in between this line of support right now sitting at around $1.80 give or take, and this line of resistance sitting at around $2.44, and the center line for the parallel channel is currently sitting at around $2.09 approximately. And so technically, while XRP is still within this descending parallel channel, technically speaking, this is a bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows, generally just drifting towards the downside. But of course, if we can finally see a confirmed breakout above this line of resistance, so breaking out above around $2.44, and especially if we can get back above around $2.50 as another potential point of resistance, those would be the bullish reversal signals that I'll be watching out for. But for now, obviously, we've not yet confirmed any of those bullish reversal signals, which means for now, technically, we're looking more bearish than bullish while we're still within this descending parallel channel. But of course, there's other levels of support to pay attention to for XRP. For example, we do have a lot of support at around $2.25, give or take, based on these lows, and also previous support right around here. And as for other levels of support, we have a lot of support at closer towards around $2.13 to $2.14 based on these lows, and major support at around $2.05 approximately, if we were to pull back down towards some of those levels right there. And once again, if you want to know what's likely going to play out for XRP in terms of the direction here, simply pay attention to Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin has a major move to the upside or to the downside, XRP, along with a lot of major altcoins, will likely follow similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. Obviously not the exact same, but just similar price action. And remember, if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links below this video to claim those extra bonuses over on those exchanges. And if you want to actually know how to profit from crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen, because the video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.